Okay, I'm going to make a video, even though I'm kind of apprehensive is the word, because as I have mentioned that I went to a big used book sale here in Holland, Michigan on Friday, and I went this morning before I went to the library to volunteer. So I went to this used book sale. It started at 4 o'clock Friday afternoon, and I stayed for an hour. Usually an hour is enough for me. If I get my carry-on full of used books, then that's enough for me. And so now I've got to determine how to show the books, because I got at least 40 books, and today I got 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got 15 books I got from the Book Nook today where I volunteer. So, and I don't like to make long videos because I think they're boring and I don't think I'm that exciting. So where to start? I have them in categories around me. I have here, well, let's just start. Well, first of all, as I always show, it's 7:26 at night. It's August the 27th. It's a Saturday. I turned on the air conditioner this evening because the house was sticky and damp and humid. And we have an old dog named Rudy who's going on 13 years old, and when you turn the AC on, you don't smell of an old dog. So, and I ended my diary this evening on page 724. Tomorrow is the last Sunday in August 2016. So I put the books in categories. I have over here biographies. Here by the camera I have novels. And here I have like nonfiction, essays, things like that. And over here I have my Edward Abbey collection. I found one Edward Abbey novel. This was his last novel, Hey Duke Lives. It says here he's the author of The Monkey Wrench Gang. So I found that, and I put that with my Edward Abbey collection. Now you see, I'm making a video here, and how many of you guys know who Edward Abbey is? Somebody made a comment that I should go more detail. Well, who was Edward Abbey? And all I can say that he was an environmentalist. He was into ecology. He was into preserving and conserving the Southwest. The book that I read many, many years ago was his famous book, Desert Solitaire, A Season in the Wilderness, a celebration of the beauty and living in a harsh and hostile land. I think he lived in Utah. And this book, I read it so many years ago, but like certain books you read, they kind of make a dent in your soul or in your inner psychic. And so every time I see an Edward Abbey book, I collect them. And I think the last book I read of Edward Abbey was his Postcards from Ed, Dispatches and Salvos from an American Iocast, edited with introduction by David Peterson. These are his letters, and so I found at the used book sale. This is his last novel before he died. I think he died even before he was able to edit it, and so I read some reviews of it, and they said it sounded like it wasn't completed. It didn't have a good, solid ending to it. But anyway, I got that. So, and also I've mentioned that I've been reading Pinkerton's Sister by Peter Rushforth. Says here in the back of this novel, for Alice Pinkerton's trapped in a suffocating life of convention, the party chatter of 1903 New York society is enough to make a woman mad, or at least make her a mad woman in the attic. So Alice escapes to the looking glass of literature, finding companionship and inspiration in Shakespeare, Oscar Wilde, Nathaniel Hawthorne, Stevenson, Poe, Austen, and the rest of the literary pantheon of her day. Like a character from one of her favorite novels, Alice holds a biting, eccentric view of life, seeing beyond the limitations of her circumstances to create a fascinating portrait of her society. Heartbreaking and wildly funny, intelligent and dazzling in its range, Pinkerton's Sister is a true celebration of the imagination, a memorizing example of the saving power of fiction. Most of all, it is the quintessential novel for readers. So I was reading this today, and I've been reading it, and I was pleased to find at the book sale Peter Rushforth's second novel, A Dead Language. It says here, Benjamin Franklin Pinkerton, the faithless young naval lieutenant who abandons Madame Butterfly, appeared fleetingly in Peter Rushforth's critically acclaimed novel, Pinkerton's Sister. Now Ben steps out of the shadows onto center stage on the eve of his departure to Japan to examine the monstrous act for which he is remembered. In A Dead Language, Volume 2 of an exceptional sequence of novels, Rushforth again showcases his mastery of language, extraordinary imagination, and superb sense of time and place. So I was really pleased to find this novel because I was really enjoying Pinkerton's Sister. So how long have we been on here? We have been on 3 minutes. So what else? So then, I have these in categories. I have over here biographies, novels. Here, Edward Abbey. These are essays. And over here, these are these are memoirs, autobiographies. And I also found for my Virginia Woolf collection, I found this hardback, which I didn't have, A Passionate Apprentice, the early journals, 1897 to 1909, edited by Mitchell A. Lansky. This is by Virginia Woolf. I collect her. I also found, what else? I found something else. Where is it? Oh, where is it now? I can't find it. Oh yeah, I found this. This is Mrs. Woolf and the Servants, an intimate history of the domestic life of Bloomsbury. Now we know that if you know British literary history, Virginia Woolf was a part of the group called the Bloomsbury Circle. They were writers, painters, poets, eccentrics, and this is a intimate history of domestic life in Bloomsbury by Alison Light. So it says here, when Virginia Woolf wrote A Room of One's Own in 1929, she established her reputation as a feminist, a woman who could imagine a more open and liberal society, an advocate for the female voice. Indeed, the Bloomsbury set has often been identified with open-minded views. Woolf's circle of artists and writers were considered bohemians ahead of their time, but they were also of their time. Like thousands of other British households, Virginia Woolf's relied on live-in domestics for most intimate of daily tasks. That room of her own she so valued was cleaned, heated, and supplied with meals by a series of cooks, maids throughout her childhood and adult life. In Mrs. Woolf and the Servants, Allison Light gives depth and dignity to the long overlooked servants who worked for the Bloomsbury intellectuals. So I was pleased to find this for my Virginia Woolf collection, Mrs. Woolf and the Servants of the Intimate History of Domestic Life in Bloomsbury by Allison Light. So I found that, and I also found this, Reading My Father by Alexandra Citron, a memoir. This is a memoir. She was the daughter of the writer William Citron. I mentioned just recently I found a hardback edition of his famous novel Sophie's Choice, and this is it says here, part memoir, part elegy. Reading My Father is a story of a daughter coming to know her father at last, a giant among 20th century American novelists, a man whose devastating depression darkened the family landscape. So I found this memoir I have for my William Citron collection. I also found this autobiography by a very famous American statesman during the Cold War in American history, Dean Atkinson, President of Creation, My Years in the State Department. I like reading autobiographies of politicians because they give you a more intimate view or perspective on American history, especially the 20th century, the Cold War. I also found the autobiography of the yuppie Abbie Hoffman. We know him from Allen Ginsberg, the Chicago Democratic riots, and he was of that time period. This is called Soon to Be a Major Motion Picture, Abbie Hoffman, introduction by Norman Mailer. This is his autobiography about his life, growing up there in the 60s and things like that. I have another book by Abbie Hoffman. I collect books on the 60s, the radical movements, New Age movements, spiritual movements in the 60s. I came out of the 60s, so I found that. Well, I'm not going to go any further. I will continue these videos on the books I got at the AAUW, the Associated American Women of University book sale. Next time in my video, I'll discuss the biographies and the novels and the nonfiction. So till next time, bye.